It's time for Common Man. Common Man, Common Man. Charge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in. It's time for Common Man.
And he's loose!
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello. You guys are going to criticize whatever you want to criticize.
Lucky. Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Very funny. Very funny.
Talk about guys stealing from 1 to 3. You ought to pay that station to be on there.
There may be skullduggery ahead.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your turn-on?
Yeah, baby.
We're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. We're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
We're not going home yet, baby! Just... You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow, up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes!
You know how reporters and columnists are. They want the controversy. They want the negativity.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about...
You don't know nothing.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
And I'm really tired, too. I could go for a nap. Now, I know what the audience from noon to 3 goes through every day. Except on Tuesdays when it's 1 to 3. I've got to stop this habit of sitting on the couch and with the fire roaring, feet kicked up, reading news, sports, weather, arts and crafts, Wikipedia stories, biographies, autobiographies, falling asleep at 10 o'clock at night, waking up at the couch at midnight, and then staying up till 3, reading another 3 hours, then going back to bed. This is getting to be ridiculous. And I just had lunch, and I'm just tuckered. You know, they say that when you eat, that your blood rushes to your stomach. Have you heard that, Tenneby? Are you aware of that?
I have not heard that.
That's what happens. That's why you get tired. Because your head, you become light and dizzy and faint, and then you want to take a nap. But I'll make it. It's only 2 hours today. Rosen will join us at about 2 o'clock. Tomorrow is a very big day. Preposterous statement, a tournament. That's all, folks. What number is it? It's VVVIII.
I think it is VVVIII.
Yeah, this will be the 18th Preposterous Statement Tournament, and that's tomorrow, the selection show. And excited and delighted to be joined, as always, by the maestro of the mornings, Corey Cove, and for the second year in a row, joined by Justin Garb, Paul Charchian, who sat in that same chair that JG will for years and years, and now he's moved. Did he move to Oregon, Utah? Where did he go? Was it Utah?
Utah.
Utah. So he will not participate, but that's all right, too. Remember when we used to... I remember when the PST was really a big deal, when we had so much production. We would do it in the performance studio. We'd have a live studio audience. We would do these theatrical things like JG would be sitting on a couch somewhere and a bunch of people at the fan would be around him. And then when all of a sudden, because you know how they do it in the NCAA tournament, they'll always have a camera that shows South Carolina. And they get in and then they're all jumping up and down and we would do that too. Or we'd have the ones where it'd be like JG devastated because he doesn't get selected. And then we would have interviews with those. And it was so much fun. And then we just kind of said, why do we put as much effort into that? We should put as much effort into that as Common puts effort into a show, which means we just stopped doing it. So which is okay, but it's still a lot of fun. And so that will be tomorrow at 12:15.
12:15 to 2, yeah.
And then is there no Rock Talk then? Did we decide to bag Rock Talk?
No, yeah, he couldn't do any other day,
right,
so she's just out this week.
Okay, so no Rock Talk. And then Mark Rosen will be in at 2 o'clock tomorrow. He'll also be in at 2 o'clock today. Once again, want to say howdy to our latest fan affiliate, KWMN, the Fan Winona 99.3. Esoteric sports for esoteric people. This will be day 2 for them, and I hope you've been enjoying what you've heard so far. We have 4 really distinct shows. If you like reliving 8th grade every morning, then you listen to the Power Trip Morning Show. If you want nothing but purple positivity, then you listen to the Paul Allen Project, 9 to noon. If you want nonstop nonsense, tomfoolery, and skullduggery, then you listen to the Common Man program. And if you want basically a wide variety of everything, you want poised, polished, and professional, you listen from 3 to 6:30. Letting the people in Winona know, we are going through a construction project here. We're renovating the building. When we first moved here to 1600 Utica Avenue South, we had 2 floors, the 4th and 5th. We were an empire. And then it just started whittling and whittling. Then we went from 2 floors to 1 floor. They went from 1 floor to 3/4 of a floor. And then we went to like a half a floor. Now I think we're going to be it's going to be like a bread box. A bread box will be bigger than what we're in, but it's okay. And the workers are doing a terrific job. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know how they figure all that stuff out there. That's why they go to school.
Sounds challenging.
Well, I went over, they have a blueprint laid out over by the old performance studio. And it's not blue, but it's a blueprint, I imagine. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I don't know how they figure this out, because there's wiring and there's duct work and there's just so much to it.
I'm waiting for them to snip the red wire instead of the black wire, and then we're all off the air. Well,
or maybe the whole place blows up. But one thing that they're not renovating is the restrooms here at iHeart. And for those of you, I think I've described our restroom facility here on the air before, but they've not heard about it when known us, so this is partly for them. We're a 2-urinal, 2-stall bathroom. So it can service 4 people at a time, right? Unless you wanted to share a urinal with somebody. And if I was at the urinal and somebody had to go really, really bad, or they were going to, pee their pants, I'd let them go ahead. Just don't touch me, but go ahead. Then we have 2 sinks, 2 towel dispensers, and it's very comfortable. Well, occasionally we'll have issues with either the urinals or the toilets, right? And they'll just be out of order. I saw this happen twice yesterday, Tennessee. I visit the restroom frequently. Why? Because the only thing bigger than my ego is my prostate. I drink a lot of coffee, so I need to go to the restroom a lot. So on 2 different occasions, I walk into the restroom, and a sales guy is just walking up to one of the urinals. There's an out of order sign. Have you seen it?
Yes.
I mean, it's like big, bold block letters on a piece of 8x11 typing paper, printer paper, right there on the wall in front of it. And he's about to use it. And I go, you've
got to be kidding me.
That's out of order, don't you? And all of a sudden, he just got red-faced. Oh, I didn't see that. And I'm thinking, maybe instead of an out of order sign, they should have an eye chart there instead so you can actually read it. And I'm thinking, how do you not see that? But because I don't know what happens if you decide to use a urinal that has, I came to urinate. I don't know if it would, I don't know what the issue is with it. Does it just not flush? Is it not draining properly? What kind of issues could we have? So I feel like I saved the day, right? Come back to the radio on the air, segment or 2, let her go back there again. I walk in there. I'm using the urinal that is in order. One of the construction guys walks up, and I don't say anything because I don't know him at all. He uses it, and it says out of order.
You've got to be kidding me.
It's right there. And I wonder,
how do you miss it?
I don't know.
It's a big sign.
It's big. It's huge. Big bold block letters. And again, I'm not the bathroom monitor. You know, I'm not going to go report them or anything like that. We used to have bathroom monitors back when I went to high school. I don't smoke anymore. I think I told you that, Tennessee. I used to smoke, and if I enjoyed smoking, but I knew it was going to kill me. Of course, so will a snowball with a rock in it if it hits you in the face, right? But I quit because I knew that smoking's bad for you. And if I've said this before, and I'll say it again, if they announced right now the Surgeon General was wrong, and that smoking wasn't hazardous to your health, I would, you know how I once had an intern go get me a pair of sweatpants at Target because I was so fat I was uncomfortable in my jeans? My tight-fitting jeans, as Conway Twitty once sang song. I would send an intern. Of course, we don't have any, but if we did, I'd send him to the tobacco shop to get me a carton of Marlboro Red flip-top box, and I'd chain smoke every one of those things. But in school, we used to smoke, and we would have our own bathroom monitors because you'd go in there and you would all share a cigarette, right? And you had one guy was a lookout because I don't think the teachers wanted to do it, but I don't know if it was. You're not supposed to smoke if you're under 18 years of age, okay? And then you're certainly not supposed to smoke in school. You know, you've heard the song "Smoking in the Boys' Room" by Brownsville Station. Smoking in the boys' room. And that's what we used to do. We used to beat down heaters, and then you had one guy as a lookout. So if a teacher walks in, he would like take a pound on the wall and then walk out the door. Then you'd know, put out the cigarettes. Here comes the teacher. Of course, there's smoke everywhere, you know. But so we had bathroom monitors, I guess is what they were called. But I'm not a bathroom monitor now, and so I didn't report it to anybody. But it's sort of a public service announcement.
Were they able to flush when they were done?
Well, I don't know.
The other day, both of them were out of order.
Yes, they were both out of order.
Because I was able to read the sign.
Yeah, well, yeah, signs everywhere, signs. Clogging up the scenery, making my mind. Do this, don't do that, the signs. We used to play that song back when we could play licensed music, but now we can't because of the podcast. So I tucked up my hair up under my head and when long-haired hippie freaks need not apply, was what the sign said. So he tucked his hair up under his hat and went in to ask him why. And he said, "You look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you'll do." I took off my hat and said, "Imagine that, me working for you." Very deep social commentary there.
Yeah.
To be that, just not when you don't see I have long hair, you think I look nice, but just because I have long hair, you don't like me. Should have done a Super Bowl commercial like that and then followed it with talking toilets. Peek at the Purple is next. And I stumbled across a really interesting story. It's one of those, you've heard people say, it's as long as War and Peace. That's a book. I don't know who did it, but it's called War and Peace. And it's like one of the longest books in the world. And this article but it's about Sam Darnold in the Minnesota Vikings. And there are some really eye-opening quotes by several Viking players. And I don't know if I had not heard any Viking players talk about Sam Darnold's departure. But it raises some interesting issues. So we'll take a look at a couple of those quotes during Peek at the Purple. That's coming up on the other side of the break. But right now, Tennessee's got a keyword for us.
The fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for shot to win. The keyword is dollar. Enter now at KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. Bonus Bucks. 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com.
Working 9 to 5. Peek at the Purple. Oh, by the way, are we doing spoiler alerts? I had no idea that. Why wouldn't they have this game in prime time? Why are they having it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I don't think the United States or Canada is getting any respect. It's a Winter Olympic hockey matchup on the women's side. It's United States against Canada. I'm about to report a score because there is a score. A goal has been scored. I'm going to do that in, this is the spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2.5, 2, 2.25, 2, 1, 0. USA scores a goal. I don't recall which player scored it. But
it was a defender.
Was a defender, or is that a
kind of a weak shot?
Yeah,
so not a great moment for the Canadian goaltender there. They let her just skate right into the top of the circle there.
15.5 minutes when they scored it. I think there's 14.5 to go now in period number 1. USA leads Canada. This isn't for the gold medal, but it pretty much just is, right? Now, if you lose, is this a round robin?
No, yeah, I would say it's not for the gold medal, but this is a gold medal preview.
Right, yeah.
Because both teams are going to be the 1 and 2 seed out of their pool. Okay. They'll move on, and then they'll probably meet each other in the gold medal match.
Okay, very much so. And is there is this like a round robin? You come out of your
just pool play.
Yeah, pool play. So you lose 2 and you're done in pool play. How does that work? Are you? How does pool? I don't understand. I don't watch hockey. So can you explain pool play?
Well, pool play is they have, I believe, 2 pools of 5 teams.
Okay.
So you play 4 games.
Okay.
And then my assumption is with the women, because at least with the men, they do it where the top 8 teams advance. The top 8 of the 10 advance, but then you're seeded. So the one will play the 4 seed from the other pool.
And then it's one and done.
At that point, it's one and done, yes.
One and done, okay.
So I think this is USA's last one of pool play.
So we'll keep you posted. There's a delayed penalty coming
we're about to have a power play.
Did we score again? No. But there's trouble on the ice. Now, it's somehow the goaltender has gotten, it almost looked like it looked like one of those figure 4 leg locks in wrestling. The goaltender for the Team Canada and the one of the skaters for Team USA, they got their legs entangled. Like I say, it looked like almost like a wrestling match there, but I think now it's for,
Oh no.
Well, you know what this is. It's a conspiracy. The screen is now frozen, much like the ice, and they're showing nothing. So right now they're probably rigging the game. By the way, Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. This month, fall in love with your home again. Affordable Electric is offering free electrical evaluations all month long. From new lighting and electrical upgrades to repairs and remodels, they do it all. Call today and schedule your free estimate. Be sure to mention you heard us on KFAN. Affordable Electric, quality work, honest pricing, and safety you can trust. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com is shockingly affordable. So, have you ever heard of a website called Go Long?
No.
Is it Go Long? I got to pull up the story here. I think it's called Go Long. They call them, so I don't even know who sent this to me, but a listener or someone sent this to me. It's called Go Long. Tyler Dunn writes for it. I read a little blurb about Go Long. It's long form reporting. Sort of kind of like what The Athletic does when they just go on and on and on and on. And there's a story about Sam Darnold here that says this was I think, when was a big game played on the 8th?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
So this was the 7th. This was written the day before. The feature story is entitled Tough SOB, The Lessons of Sam Darnold. It says Tom Brady didn't believe, neither did the Jets, the Panthers, the Vikings. So here's Sam Darnold, 1 win away from a big game with the Seattle Seahawks. Is the rest of the NFL paying attention? And it's the same old stuff we've been talking about. You know, they doubted him, this, that, and the other thing. But what was interesting is what I found was there were quotes from, I've not heard, did I miss all of this? Have Minnesota Viking players, and maybe there has been a quote or two, that have talked about Sam Darnold and what he meant to the franchise and what the players are thinking? Because Cashman's quoted in here, Aaron Jones is quoted in here, and Harrison Smith.
I saw their Harrison Smith quote.
Yeah, they're extensively quoted in this piece. You remember when the Vikings beat Green Bay last year? Sam Darnold was brilliant at Lambeau. And after the game ended, he did an interview on the field. Remember the video when he came into the locker room? It was, for he's a jolly good fit, that whole thing, right? Here's what it said. Here's what Harrison Smith said. Honestly, we shouldn't have gone that crazy, but it wasn't because we won. It was just because everyone was happy for Sam and the journey he'd been on. He's not there to say, I got screwed at whatever organization I was in. I never had a chance. He just came in, went to work, mixed it up with all the guys. Everybody had a lot of faith in him. He was very well liked. We wanted to celebrate Sam. It was all happiness for him. There were the two terrible games at the end of the season, right? Where he was just awful against Detroit and semi-awful against the Rams. Here's what Smith said. It wasn't just Sam not performing in those games. The team didn't play well in those games, and he didn't get much help. Radio Row can turn into a sewage plant. 'Tis the season for can't win the big one narratives. At times, the label absolutely applies. Smith knows there are some quarterbacks who get skittish in pressure-packed games, but he's adamant that was never the case with Darnold, which is why the safety loves seeing his ex-teammate shine versus the Rams. He rips all the backlash Darnold received as lazy. Here's what he says. The reality is you can learn from experience. You don't have to just fail all the time. Everyone acts like you're either the worst or you're the GOAT. All the dumbass bleep that people just come up with, they haven't spent their professional life committed to improving. That's going to take failure. That's going to take times where you get beat. And then people drag you because you aren't the greatest every play. Whoever everyone says is the GOAT, Brady, Jordan, Woods, they all get beat and they all get embarrassed. It's just we don't watch those clips. It says Smith's voice speeds up with each thought. We chatted for an hour. He's most passionate on this topic. He says they were the best because they found ways to improve and use those as fuel. But that's not sexy. That's not sexy for us to watch a highlight video or a low light video, people just losing and then how they improve upon it. And I think Sam is a good example of a guy that just goes to work and he doesn't make too big of a deal of anything. Here's what Cashman said. Cashman has been with Darnold since their Jets days together. Their fiancés are friends. He wanted his pal to get paid. Oddly, the market was good, not great. Cashman says, obviously I was a little sick to my stomach to see him leave because we were a great team. He played phenomenal. And the guys in our locker room, everyone's thinking, why wouldn't you run it back?
Yeah.
Players assumed Vikings management could feel what they felt, the quarterback endearing himself to everyone. To them, 14-3 was the only beginning. Darnold was 27. This Vikings franchise has been lost at sea for decades. They've tried everything. High draft picks, Culpepper, Ponder, Bridgewater, a hated rival, Favre, a pricey trade, Bradford, a pricey free agent, Cousins, aging talents, Cunningham, George, journeyman, Keenum, Castle, and Farrat. Thus, the 2025 Vikings were basically a 90s rom-com gone wrong. After a million failed dates, the one waltzed right in their building, and O'Connell bailed. And there are other quotes from Cashman and such. But I do find it telling that Cashman says the locker room thought, well, of course we're going to run this back. Why wouldn't we? And for whatever reasons, the coaching staff and the front office decided not to do it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com for all of your electrical needs. They're shockingly affordable.
Dave Chappelle returns to Minnesota February 16th with a very special guest, Clips. Don't miss out on this one-off, one-of-a-kind set at Grand Casino Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Get all the details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
You know, it's if you want to see someone whose comedic stylings are similar to Dave Chappelle, Meat Sauce will be at the Cato Ballroom in Mankato a week from Saturday. I'll be joining him, the common man. Close circuit to Meat Sauce. You're closing now. You were so good the last time out. I can't follow Meat Sauce anymore. Larry Mondello Guy will be our MC. Tim Flanagan, a.k.a. Larry Mondello Guy. Meat Sauce, some of the reviews, there was one in particular they were trying to describe his comedic stylings, and they said it was sort of a combination between Dave Chappelle, Howie Mandel, and Dave Attell. Tickets available at Cato Ballroom. .com/tickets. CatoBallroom.com/tickets. Love to see you There are meet and greet tickets available as well. Meet and greet, the common man. Larry Mondello guy. And meets us.
boy.
You get to meet Larry Mondello guy.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's a game changer for me.
Wow.
And why didn't you lead with that? I mean, that would have been the first thing you should have said.
Spoiler alert coming your way, and Olympic spoiler alert coming your way in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Team Canada killed the power play. So the United States went up early within the first 5 minutes. They scored a goal. And then the United States went on the power play, but successfully navigated by Team Canada. Just under 6.5 to go in the first period. USA leads Canada by a score of 1-0. I want to go back to this Go Long article because there's a couple of other Cashman quotes to me that I think are very telling. So Dunn writes, Cashman understands business is business. Darnold is also the 18th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. A new contract was manageable. Here's what Cashman said. If Sam would have been returning as our quarterback after the year he had with us, everyone would have been happy. Guys loved him, not just as a player, but as a teammate as well. So we were sad to see him go. We're happy for him. Of course, you think about the what ifs. We definitely missed him this year. I always tread lightly saying those things because we've got J.J. McCarthy, a young quarterback that's going to take a lot of growth, and he didn't have those chances with his injury his rookie year. I respect J.J. and love the guy too. But yeah, it would have been nice to have a talented veteran quarterback who had previous success with our team and with KO. So, and then one last thing he says, teams move on faster from players and coaches and maybe even people in the front office quicker than they should because they think the grass is greener on the other side. But it's not always that case. And I think teams like us sometimes pay the price for that. So it's not just negative media members or fans that wonder what went wrong with the quarterback situations, even players on the team that second guess. But anyway,
I find it interesting how vocal some of these players are being.
Well, exactly.
I know he was trying to clean up what he was saying about J.J. McCarthy there at the end.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're being this vocal about it would lead you to believe they don't think J.J. McCarthy is the guy moving forward. And maybe they already know he's not going to be the guy.
Well, and he couched it a little bit by saying, look, I have to be careful here. He did say this too. He goes, talking about Darnold being in the big game. He says, we all love him. We all respect him. And for all the outside noise and all the BS he's had to deal with, I would love for him to have a Super Bowl win and a Super Bowl MVP. Be like, hey, look, I did this darn thing. Nobody's more deserving than him for that. And then Harrison Smith added, it's good to see him kind of quiet those narratives, and I hope he continues. So, you know, the guys that are out on the field, I think they're the ones that know better even than, you know, those of us, like, including myself, that sit on the couch and watch. And maybe even sometimes more than the coaching staffs in the front office. And again, you know, they're not the final word either. I mean, you know, but when you're out there on the field with them, and you go through what you have to go through day in, day out, week in, week out, all season long, from mini camps, Otis, training camp, preseason through the regular season, you grow fond of your teammates. And so it's interesting, and we'll see where the Vikings now decide to go at quarterback. The Carr character, did you see that, Tenneby?
That he might come out of retirement?
Yeah. I know he was a really good quarterback, but he first came into the league, what was it, like in 2002? 2000? He's 20.
If you want a veteran quarterback, that's a veteran.
Well, that's a veteran, but he's like 25 years in the league, and he wants to come in. I guess Phil Rivers did it, but this is even older than Phil Rivers. So I don't know if I want to go in that direction. I don't think there's a lot of viable options, really, you know, that just jump out that you go, hey, let's go. Unless you do try to cut some kind of a deal for Burrow. But if you do that, like let's say you decided to do that, well, then you just defeated the reason why you didn't go with Darnold. Well, part of it is you didn't believe in Darnold as much as maybe the players did. But you decided you wanted to move on to the young quarterback and play under the rookie deal so you could supplement the roster with draft picks. With free agents. And that didn't work either. So you'd be just doing a complete about face if you went out and signed an in his prime Joe Burrow, right? I just don't see them doing that, but maybe they would because, again, we don't know what ownership wants. Ownership could be antsy and anxious. Go ahead, storied franchise, National Football League, go out and get them. So I don't know what their plans are. I don't even know if they know what their plans are, right? I mean, they're probably still mulling it over at the new Winter Park. I
always find it funny that, like, when you have a middle-of-the-road quarterback, you're always looking for the elite quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then when you had to sit through and watch the quarterback play we did this year, then all of a sudden, like, names like Derek Carr, you go, oh, yeah, he might be all right for us.
Right.
Just because the bar was set so low this past season.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We talk about how you construct a team, and I think ideally you want to do it through the draft, right? Because then you get players at all positions on their rookie deals. Usually they're younger, a bit more sturdy. They probably don't have as much of an injury history as your veteran players. And as the Vikings saw this year, sometimes those even highly regarded veterans, like the two guys on the inside of the defensive line and the two guys on the interior of the offensive line, sometimes don't pan out. And there are those, and I've had discussions with people that say, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. USA, we score again, tend to be at the 2:42 mark of the first period. If this were a fight, they'd stop it. However, what is the most dangerous lead in hockey?
2-goal lead.
I would have kept this game as scoreless as long as possible, is what I would have done. But we'll see how it goes. United States leads 2-0.
That's an incredible play. They've been dominating all the entire first period, too.
Yeah, it's been...
the score is indicative of the play.
What do they say, that the ice is tilted?
Yes.
And it certainly is tilted here. What I don't understand is for pool play, so they let the ice melt and then...
Morning Amsterdam?
No, somebody else. A fledgling... he wanted to be a junior staff writer. I told him we'll send that to rewrite.
I thought pool play was in the Summer Olympics.
Yeah. We'll send that to rewrite as well. But anyways, you want to use free agency, I think, when you just have a hole or two to fill. But Tennessee, it's not necessarily so. This is a story, again, prior to the big game, day before, lead-up story. Associated Press, Josh Dubois writes, how aggressive free agency moves led the Patriots and the Seahawks to the Super Bowl. The Patriots handed out the most money on the unrestricted free agent market with more than $364 million in contracts, nearly $100 million more than the next highest team. Handed out to 19 free agents, according to, is it
Sportico?
Spotrac?
Yeah, Spotrac?
Yeah. New England also led in guaranteed money spent, with nearly $175 million in those deals guaranteed. Patriots won a bidding war for star defensive tackle Milton Williams with a 4-year, $104 million contract and added several key defensive players like Carlton Davis, a cornerback, edge rushers Harold Landry and Calebon Chasen, is that how you say it? And linebacker Robert Spillane. New England also got number one receiver Steph Diggs on a 3-year, $63.5 million deal, along with starting offensive lineman Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury and receiver Matt Collins. That's a large number of free agents. It says, here's what Vrabel said. I think you just have to be very intentional with the people that you're bringing in. I think sometimes free agency, you have to be able to use it. People use it in different ways as part of our business. It's another way to acquire players and player acquisition. understand that you have to be convicted on the person that you're bringing in as a player and also the impact that they're going to make in the locker room, around the building, and in the community. And it wasn't just New England. The Seahawks came in 4th in free agency spending at more than $205 million, led by a 3-year, $105 million deal for quarterback Sam Darnold, as well as smaller contracts to edge rusher DeMarcus Lawrence and receiver Cooper Kupp. GM John Schneider also hit on several budget deals for players, with tight end Eric Saubert, tackle Josh Jones, helping Seattle reach the Super Bowl. The recent runs come after years of poor picks eroded the roster strength. The Seahawks added Jigba, Devin Witherspoon, Kenneth Walker, Charles Cross, Byron Murphy, Rick Woolen, and A.J. Barner in recent years before using their top 2 picks in April on immediate impact players, Gray Zabel on the offensive line, and versatile defender Nick Emenwari. And here's what McDonald said. It was a masterclass by John and our personnel folks. A lot of coaches have a lot of input, especially through free agency. When you have a shared alignment about what type of team you want to have, what type of people you want in your building, I think that streamlines the process. And so there isn't just one way to build a team. It's you want to hit on your draft picks, I think, number one, right? That is the most important, because those are the ones you just get for free. You get them on a rookie minimum. You select them. They're in your building. They learn your system. You help develop them to your culture, the whole thing. And then it's pretty hard to draft enough guys that you just go. I mean, we talked about with how, under Kwesi, we had like 2 of all of it. Like, is there only 2 or 3 players that we drafted over the 4 years that are still on the team? And then you look at Green Bay and Detroit, and it's like they're double digits. They're in the teens, or even I think Detroit is in the teens, and Packers are like in the low 20s of players they drafted and are still a part of the team. So when you can hit on your draft picks, then you don't have to invest as much money on the free agent market. And then when you do, you're getting really specific, and you can be a little bit more, I think, picky.
I was going to say that your ability to hit on your draft picks allows you to spend money in free agency. Because, right? I mean,
you have the money.
I mean, New England's got Drake May on a rookie deal. So they are getting a guy who was second in MVP voting on a small contract. So then you can go out and you have a lot of money available, and you can go spend in free agency. Seattle, Jackson Smith and Jigbo was offensive player of the year and is still on his rookie contract. Kenneth Walker is still on his rookie contract, though I think that's about to end. You mentioned Devin Witherspoon and Byron Murphy. These guys are all giving you high-level play for a small amount of money. That allows you, and even Sam Darnold, right? I mean, Sam Darnold, it allowed them to go spend money on Sam Darnold, but they still are getting a bargain there.
Right.
So hitting on draft picks allows you to have the cap space to go. And the Vikings are just in a spot where they've hit on so little draft picks, they have too many holes to fill in free agency.
Correct.
And then now you're tied up against the cap.
That's exactly spot on. And look, full disclosure, you look at the Patriots. When you say they handed out the most money on unrestricted free agent market, more than $364 million in contracts, nearly $1 million more than the next highest team. Handed out to 19 free agents. New England also led in guaranteed money spent. $175 million of those deals are fully guaranteed. I don't know where that leaves them for this upcoming year. They've got a capologist, like we've got Brzezinski, so I'm sure I don't think they just loaded up on this season at all. Now they're going, well, what do we do now? So they've probably planned on, but it does put you in a position where when you decide to make your move and strike with your free agent, I mean, that team went from, was it back-to-back 4-13 seasons?
They were 4-13 last year.
They were just terrible. It's the biggest turnaround, I think, ever of a team that reached the Super Bowl. I think from as far as from a losing record as bad as 4-13, a worst to first kind of a record. That's the biggest gap ever. That's a 9-game. Is that a 9-gamer? How many game difference? Can you do math?
What were their record this year?
13-4.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, so it's a 9-game difference. That just doesn't happen very often. But
frankly, the Vikings tried that exact same strategy,
yes,
right? It's like, we're going to go with the young rookie quarterback, or not rookie quarterback, second-year contract, but he's on his rookie contract.
Correct.
And we're going to go spend a bunch of money for agency to try to build our own. The problem is he didn't give you Drake May performance.
He didn't give you Drake May performance, and the free agents that you selected, you saw the names we had here.
Yep.
These guys made major impacts. Without all of those players, neither of those teams get to the big game. So it's, and
frankly, we saw with Detroit, right? Like Detroit had a good couple-year run there because they, let's face it, with the Jared Goff deal and getting as many draft picks and as high as their draft picks were, and they were hitting on those draft picks, right? With Jahmyr Gibbs and Aiden Hutchinson, and some others, and Penny Sewell. Now they're getting to the point though where they have to now pay all those guys, so it's harder for them to reload like it once was when they had that little window when guys were on the cheap.
We were talking about Elliott Wolf yesterday. He's like Ron Wolf's son. I think Ron Wolf was the architect. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was the architect of those Green Bay Packer teams under Favre and Rodgers, and he's the New England Patriots general manager, Elliott Wolf. And here's what he said. We felt like we needed a total culture shift. We spent a lot of time doing work on the type of people that we brought in, and it's crazy to say, but I don't know that we missed on a person. Not every player has been the greatest free agent signing ever, but all the people that we brought in during free agency have been phenomenal. So you got to hit on them too. And, and the Vikings aren't the only team that brings in 3, 4, 5 free agents that you're paying a lot of money and hoping make a big impact. And as we talked about, the center had a couple of concussions, barely played. Fries was, he was solid. I mean, at least he played all the time. He started. He was a functioning member. And the two defensive guys just certainly didn't live up to the kind of money.
And the year before they hit on a lot of those free agents.
That's exactly right.
Cash in, cash out. Yep. Bernard, Van Ginkel.
And so and like it also said, and one of the GMs said, or maybe it was a coach, one of the quotes I read said, especially in free agency, you're getting a lot of input from the coaching staff. So we'll see. Obviously the Vikings have the work cut out for them with, number one, they have to decide. And I'd like to know what they really think of Darnold, because you get all these, like Seifert had the other day, and I think maybe a couple of other people have, reported that their belief is the Vikings are going to go out and try to get a veteran quarterback. And when they say that, what I don't know, I'm assuming that you wouldn't make that kind of a big news story if it wasn't meant to be a starting veteran quarterback, right? Because every team that's got a young quarterback has a veteran quarterback as their backup that's just the way it generally is done.
We had Carson Wentz last year. He was a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, they do that by design. Yeah. You have your rookie quarterback, and then you have some guy in a backup role, a Ryan Tannehill kind of a player, that, maybe the guy can learn a little bit from Tannehill. Tannehill can help in the quarterback room. And by the way, if our guy gets hurt or he struggles, we got a guy that's been there before, and he gives us an opportunity to keep us in games. We'll take a break. The legendary one, Mark Rosen, we haven't talked to him since his Super Bowl party. It was, from what I understand, it was the place to be on Super Bowl Sunday in the Twin Cities. We'll ask him when he joins us next.
I always love
here on the
that.
Common Man program on the Fan.